Okay, new day, new week. As you can see, I'm in a new location. I'm actually traveling, and because I'm working on a new project for this year, which is to find another new investment area for HMOs. I've been doing a lot of desktop research, a lot of research around stats and statistics, and I think I've found a good location to expand upon the HMOs that I'm investing in. So this video could be a short video, it could be a long video, but the key thing is that I'll be going around to view a number of properties, to understand the area a bit more, build some relationships with agents, and then look to nurture that going forward to expand upon buying a number of HMOs in the future. So come along, hopefully find some good value from it. And yeah, maybe there'll be a few little tips that you can take away to adapt and add to your investment strategy. So just checking out, making movements to do viewings for those houses. So you may be thinking, well, Dwayne, why are you even looking at investing in a different area for HMOs? Well, there's a few key reasons, and I'll share that. Well, one of them is diversification, really. As you know, I've got properties in Coventry on a rent-to-rent guaranteed rent basis. I've got properties in Durham, which I'm also looking to expand upon. But I'm also looking at this new area, which I'll share in the future once I've purchased the properties and show you around a bit more. So keep a bit of intrigue as well. But ultimately, it's just diversification. It's good to have areas where maybe it's good for professionals, another area that's good for students. Like, for example, Durham. Perfect for student accommodation because it's got a university with just shy of 30,000 people. It's a small condensed area, and if you get the right location year in year out, you get strong tenant demand. Now when you look at Coventry, it's got a good mix, and a new area I'm going to has a really good mix of employers, which makes for a good sustainable area for people looking to rent in the future, for strong continued growth in terms of jobs. And you know, when you're looking to buy in a HMO location, it's different. You're going to have more turnover in the same period of time versus a buy-to-let. A standard person renting a buy-to-let will stay in for roughly between 3 to 4 years. Someone staying in a HMO will roughly stay between 6 to 12 months. I've had on occasions tenants stay for a number of years, but that's a rarity because in today's economy, jobs changes, opportunities change, and as a result, HMOs meet that perfect match between people looking to move on quickly, but also that flexibility in terms of where they stay. So you want to always continue to find a location that's got strong continued investment, and that's the location that I'll be looking to invest in as well.
So for privacy reasons, I'll just talk you through the property that I've just viewed, and I'll do that just by using images that I've taken as well as the floor plan. So this was a really nice, ideal property for HMOs, and I'll just explain that to you because the actual backyard was all low maintenance. There's no shrubs, no greenery. It was literally just brick wall and brick flooring throughout. So that makes it great for HMOs because ultimately you don't need to have a gardener coming on a regular basis, which adds to the cost. As a quick tip, you can actually just get your cleaner to every now and then, whenever they see some shrubs growing through, spend a few minutes picking them out, and then they wouldn't have to do that for a number of weeks or months after that. The background is that the vendor had passed away. It needs a lot of work, but really great sized rooms. And the way I saw the potential was to actually just take the wall down between the kitchen and the breakfast room, the dining room and lounge, change those into both bedrooms. They were really good sized rooms, 12 square meters plus. Then we go upstairs and we've got a huge front bedroom where we could incorporate an ensuite. You've got 2 bedrooms, one at the back and one in the middle. Where you see the wet room and WC, had enough space to split those 2 into en-suites. Then we go upstairs and we've got 2 rooms in the attic, which could also incorporate some shower rooms too. So overall, the property could incorporate 6 to 7 rooms if the plan was to go to 7 rooms, then it would need to go through the full planning process. So I'd always recommend start with 6, get that up and running, then apply for 7.
So first viewing completed, really interesting, as I shared in the audio walkthrough. Now on top of this new area that I'm looking at, it's not just because of diversification, but what actually helps is I've got a really strong power team behind me that live and work within 10 to 20 minutes from there. That really helps, because if you go into a new area and you're going to be refurbishing, you're going to be relying on letting agents, contractors, handymen, cleaners. If you're starting from scratch, it can be a very daunting task, knowing who to trust, knowing whether they're going to do a great job, whether you're going to have to call someone in to fix their problems. And if you're not doing it full time, and if you're just doing this on the side, it can be so stressful when you're actually then also juggling your home life and work. So it really helps that I've got a strong team within the close vicinity, that by buying and investing in this area, they can actually take over a lot of the work. Only thing I really need to focus on is building 1 or 2 extra relationships with agents to start out with helping to manage the properties initially, and then I can build and scale from there. So it really helps that it's a strong up and coming area, plus the fact that I've got a really good power team with me. So just on the way to the next viewing, but I thought I'd just stop off here. In the background, there's an Amazon in the area I'm investing. Have you got any clues of where I'm looking to invest next? If you do, mention down in the comments box. As you can see, the key things are looking for investment in a new area. That's one of the key things I look for. Not only is there good businesses or large businesses in the area, but there's a huge amount of investment. Nearly £50 million is going to be invested over the next 5 to 10 years. So that's going to be good for the local economy, good for investors, good for developers, good for everyone in the long term. It makes it a sustainable location.
So similar to the previous property, not able to actually show you and do a walk around video live, but let me just talk you through what I discovered. So this property externally looked beautiful from the front, nice big property with a lot of potential. Now as we got in, straight away I could see that there was issues galore. You know, what's not highlighted so clearly in these pictures, but I'll try and highlight them with some arrows, is effectively all around on the ground floor, from the floor up to a meter, was a huge amount of damp. Can you see on the left hand side of that chimney breast, there was some there clearly. I've tried to zoom in there as well. This was all around the property, all around. And when you got down to the crux of it, the agent, the owner, both didn't know where the rise in damp was coming from. Now, if you don't know where rise in damp is coming from, that causes a big issue, because although you can see some really nice flooring that with a deep clean should make the property ready to go, with rise in damp it could cause a problem. And because it's all around the property, I'm not an expert at damp, but this could be an expensive problem. So although the property had some huge rooms, great potential, it's not the type of property that I would like to take on, especially given that it's a new area that we're going to invest in, and it's just one not to need to take the risk. I would always advise, if it's a new area, keep it simple, keep it straightforward. If you know the area well and you're highly specialized in, for example, damp, go for it. It's not my kind of flavor, but I'm sure some of you who are watching it, you might want to take on the challenge, and kudos to you, go for it. This is another property literally 1 street away from the train station. I got into a really good discussion with the actual owner, and he shared that actually anytime he was going to work and he needed to travel using train, he would literally just jump out and run from the house as soon as he saw the train arriving onto the tracks. So that showed you how ideal this property is location wise. And within the location I'm looking at, there's nearly £105 million being spent on renovating the train station and surrounding areas, and that should cause the property price to go up. Now this particular property, as a HMO wouldn't work too well, because although it could work as a potential 3/4 minimo, for the money we could get a better type of deal on it. But it was good to have a chin wag with the vendor. It was good to look around the property, and we got into a nice little rapport because they're fans of Back to the Future as well as The Matrix, which both of them are one of my favourite films.
Plus, one of the benefits is the fact that we all know HMO regulations are increasing. There's new rules coming out all the time. Councils see HMO licenses as a money grab. And increasingly, a lot of areas are putting more requirements on landlords. Some of them unfeasible. A good example is in Coventry, where rather than just being a standard 5-year HMO license, they've got new requirements where you can either get a 2 or 1 year. And to get the 5, there's so much you have to do that it's near challenging 90% of them of houses just getting a 2-year license. Now, the area I'm going to be investing in doesn't have that. There's a limited amount of HMOs. The rules and the regulations and licenses are very loose. So while the opportunity exists, I see a great opportunity to invest in that location.
Now, this particular property was another central located property, had already been done up to a good condition, and really the price reflected that. I'll be staying away from this property because looking at the floor plans, because the bedrooms have an awkward layout and shape, because I'll be looking to have this property for the next 10-20 years plus, the market in terms of HMOs could change, and those rooms could become a hindrance when it comes to filling in the future. So not a property that I would be using for HMOs, but if it was just renting as a buy to let, then I would have no problem, assuming the price was right. Now, last but not least, with the properties that we visited, this was a gorgeous property. Had really large rooms, could potentially be made up to be a 4-bedroom property with a 4 double rooms, and it had a potential to go into the loft too. Looking outside, neighbours had also gone into loft, so it could be made into a 5-bed HMO. In terms of getting the 4/5 double room, if you didn't go into loft, it will be actually, if you look at the floor plan, you have on the middle floor a smaller bedroom. By knocking the walls, I could tell that they were stud walls, so you could partially move the walls forward. The bathroom was already large size, so you can move the walls forward, create a shower room, and that would encompass having a larger, it wouldn't be a large double, it would be more like a double that could fit a 3/4 bed in, but it would allow for a higher rent roll. But this was a nice area, stone throw away from the hospital, so the type of clients that would get, it would work well for doctors and nurses who are locum to the hospital. Now, this property had more than 40 signatures in the last few days in terms of viewing. So this is one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of viewing properties that are on the market with estate agents. But to get a flavour of an area, to look at if you could potentially get a good deal with an estate agent, you know, you can always go for it. But because it's a newer area for me viewing these properties with estate agents just works well for me, because I can learn from them, build some contacts, and actually by viewing one of these properties, I've now built up a good rapport and relationship with one of the agents who we've agreed that they would be passing some deals on to me before they hit the market. So that could turn into a really good relationship with regards to getting some good deals. So if you've watched video 8, there are deals to be had by going on Rightmove. It's not my first protocol, but if you're new or if you haven't got a great amount of time, I'll definitely recommend it. So that brings an end to all the viewings I had. So in total, there was 5 of them, and I'll be 100% honest with you, I was shattered by the end of it. And I had a good old beautiful wife with me, so I had to call it quits there, but it was really enjoyable looking at properties. I made a few offers, we'll see how we get on with them, and I also was able to build up a potential good relationship with one of the agents, so we'll see how it goes.